Welcome to Coffee and Commercial, your source for positive, caffeinated information, inspiration, and motivation. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Gunawardina.
And I'm Carlos Asensio.
Tune in today as one of our team members, Adrian Trejo, goes over multifamily investing in today's commercial economy.
Hello, today's topic is on tenant representation. This is brought to you by Coffee and Commercial, ReMax Top Producers. And I'm here to discuss, but I first want to open up this conversation and have you guys in the mindset of imagine you were the landlord, right? Having tenants, maybe just like yourself, right? Or you're even a landlord listening to this. And I want you to put yourself in the landlord's shoes just to, start off the conversation. Let's set the tone there. Let's get our mindsets, in that frame, right? So I wanted to begin and talk to you guys about, where most of tenant representations, the business starts from. So a lot of this is from other realtors, right? Where we get, the inquiries. It's also through directly from the tenant or the business owner. And sometimes, we have the listings where we're able to contact, people that are inquiring, on websites such as LoopNet, CoStar, Corexy, or just at our brokerage. We get, people looking to lease a commercial property. So, and from there, initial steps, once we get in contact with you, the tenant, typically we'll have a 15-minute discovery call, right? We want to, set that up, or if you'd like Zoom, we could do that if that works convenient for you. But also there is an option to meet in person at our wonderful office. And we have 3 locations in Chino Hills, Diamond Bar, and Brea. So I love it. We cover San Bernardino County, LA County, and Orange County. So, great location in the middle of everything, of all the action. So yeah, we can make it work for you. So now, as far as the required information needed, let's get to this next section here. So I'm going to come here and show you guys. So now, 2-month bank statements. All right, so this is crucial because the business owner, the landlord, right, wants to know if you have sufficient funds in your bank account to be able to afford the rent, right? So typically, you want to have 6 months in reserve. So, whatever the monthly rent is, times that by 6, that's essentially going to be a green light for a landlord, right? And then next step we have, right, is your 2-year personal or business tax returns. So, dependent on your tax returns, we can advise and help you and guide you throughout this financial intake process to make sure that, you have your financials in line. So we'll be able to guide you through that process, but we'll definitely need that to get started. And then we also have the annual profit loss balance, right? We want to make sure, and landlords want to make sure, right, that you're profitable. We don't want to put you in a lease, that does not make sense for you and your business. We're always looking out for your best interest at the end of the day. Followed by the articles of incorporations. We need to make sure that you are the one who is the signor for the company, right? The one that is who you say you are on the articles of incorporation. So we match that, and make sure to fact check that, for your legal counsel, just for me, my fiduciary responsibilities, to make sure that all the ducks are in line. So we move on. Next, we have the business plan. I think this is a very important item because it can make you or break you. this one right here, let's just say all of these things, right? You're a startup, you're looking to lease a commercial property, you may not have any experience leasing a commercial property. Well, if you have a solid business plan, we have seen not only you be able to have the option to get business funding for a startup, but also, have the opportunity to, be able to get into a commercial lease if the landlord, right, really, thinks that you are an acceptable client and thinks your business has a great plan of action, then you could definitely get accepted based on your business plan and other factors. But we could get more into detail. I wanted to move forward, and I think this is one of the key things is just asking the right questions, right? Whether it's you as a tenant or me as the commercial agent. So we're going to move on to this next section. Very important. All right. So first and foremost, what is your business? I think this is probably one of my favorite questions because this is where, through experience and, I just feel the energy and the passion when I ask this question, right? Business owners are, this is their livelihood. At the end of the day, this is how they put food on their table, how they feed their families, right? Is through their business. A lot of them are entrepreneurs, right? They're doing it on their own. They have a real passion and a belief in what they are doing and in their business. So I think this one right here, it's just my favorite, right? Out of these questions. But, next question is, how long have you been in business? These are also questions that I do get asked out on the field or when I'm, in the process of making your commercial dreams into reality, when I'm talking to other brokers, when I'm talking to landlords, property management, is how long have you been in business? Let's be real. We want people with experience, right? And have a pedigree, right? A past previous history in business. So it's reputable, right? So followed by describe type of building needed. Okay, so I just want my, tenant to explain to me what they need, right? And what I do is I get what they are looking for and use that for my criteria, for my searches. At the same time, going through that with them and, reviewing that with them and helping them, assisting them to, if they may not know certain information or know exactly what they're looking for, I could definitely be a great help to that. And that's, why I'm here, is to really help you figure out what building, what type, whether it's a flex space, industrial, retail, office, land in general, just guide you through that and help you what would be a best fit. Because at the end of the day, I am looking for you in your future, right, to make sure that would be put you in a place to be successful moving forward, that when your business is actually operating in that particular property. So we are looking at all of those, right, scenarios. Let's just say we find a property, right, and it's everything, it checks marks off all the boxes, right? And we find that fit for you, that you could see yourself. And I could also advise that this would be a great fit for you, right? Now, the next step is to tour the property, right? As I send those searches, as I find those matches, right? We meet at the property. I'll set up an appointment with a broker. I'll talk to them. I'll even, sell you to them to make you sound very attractive, right? And I'll actually get additional information, right, to be able to, come to you and let you know, like, what this deal is, like, what's going on here, right? What are they looking for? Just kind of, be set the tone and ensure that you have a great starting point and a great. We're here to build relationships here and hopefully work out a deal, right? So. I put the foot in the door, and we tour the property, and we make sure when we are walking the property, we have to look out for the integrity, right, of the building, right? You may have a building, that worst case scenario, right? Doesn't look too well, needs improvements. Or you may have a building, right, that it's turnkey. Okay, so most of the times, what you'll find for retail, it's probably going to be an empty shelf space, right? And you're probably going to have to, do renovations, right? And a flex warehouse space, a lot of times it is more so of, good to go, clean paint. They touched it up. They got it ready for someone to come in there and to lease up. And then, land, a lot of times empty lot, right? So it's kind of up to you what you want to do with it. And for office space, same thing. You're probably going to have to renovate it to your liking, just like a retail for your business to operate out of it. So, you definitely want to follow up, right? And have a architect come in there, get the plans together, right? For what it is you want to do to the property, right? So it's the interior, exterior drawings, and then you followed by having a contractor, right? Based on that, at the same time, you have your contract architect working together, right? To figure out the cost of what it is for you for your build out. And during this process, you're definitely going to have to be in touch with the city, right? So each city has, their own zoning and ordinances, right? The rules and regulations, respectfully. So you have to get in contact with the planning department, right? So a lot of times, throughout that process, you're going to have a game plan with your architect and contractor. So, with each respective, right, retail, office, typically are going to be the most common ones, right? But industrial, warehouse, it's the integrity, right? Usually the building, you have the shell, and you just, whatever you're looking to accomplish in that building, that's for you to decide inside of that. But for like retail office space, definitely gonna have to go through planning, and then with land is when you're gonna have most of the work with the city. You have to make sure that the use, right, is permitted for the business, right? So you may have a let's just say a light industrial zoning, right? And you have a auto, right, looking to come in and put their vehicles on the lot. Well, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. So you have to make sure to check with the city, prior to getting into a lease agreement, to check to see if the business is permitted, right? But if you're looking to submit to the city, you would definitely have to go through the application process, right? So that's with city planning and zoning, and you submit application, right, with the business owner will and your tenant, the tenant will. So that is done at your own discretion. We'll advise you, we'll let you know who the best to connect with, but that's done on your own. We'll make sure to be there for you to let you know, like, hey, this is the process, this is what you have to do, and we'll definitely be there to support you throughout the way, right? To make sure that application is submitted. Once the application is submitted, about 2 to 3 months, you're looking at another 2 to 3 months after that. So about 4 to 6 months total on the project, right? The completion to, for you to get granted that permit from the city for your business to be in operation, right? And then from there, a lot of times you have to start the process of, constructing. So I know many don't like to do that while the process is going, but at your own discretion, if you do begin that process of construction during that time. So, yeah. So, to follow, then we during that process, we already have an LOI, right? An LOI is going to have your terms. It's going to have the conditions, right, throughout the lease agreement, whether you have 1 to 5 to 10 years to 20 years, right? That price and those terms are going to be all contractual inside of that LOI. So the letter of intent is typically put together, right, by me, by your commercial agent, and working alongside you as a tenant, right? We negotiate after that process with the LOI. It's non-contractual. So this is just to, lay out the framework, the foundation for a drafted lease agreement. And then once we get to the drafted lease agreement, where we have the landlord, right, and the tenant happy with the agreement, right, that letter of intent, then we move into the drafted lease agreement. The drafted lease agreement will be the one that we actually will have to have and recommend that you review with your legal counsel, because that is the agreement right before the final lease agreement. Okay, so we want to make sure that we have everything in order. You understand what is in the agreement, and I answer all the questions that you may have, or my team and I will answer all the questions that you may have, and we make sure to understand what is in that agreement, because once you're in contract, you are in contract. So we want to make sure that you understand that, most importantly, so that you feel comfortable moving forward into your lease and secure. So the next thing is to get into a lease agreement, right? And I think that's an exciting part about it, because the journey, right, involved in leasing a commercial property, it's a huge accomplishment. So it's definitely something to acknowledge and be aware that, hey, you're a business owner, you're creating your dream, getting into a commercial property with a lease, and you're ready to go. And we execute and we sign that lease agreement. We get copies of insurance, right, covering the landlord and your business entity, right? So the commercial general insurance, right? So moving forward, I definitely will need a copy of receipt and payment, right? And then also gonna need a copy of the executed lease agreement for our file. So we'll make sure to keep everything in order for you. So if anything does come up, we have that prepared for you, and we could definitely give you that if needed. I wanted to, last thing is having the keys to your property. I think that is, again, the most exciting part to meet with you as a business owner. And, it's a great accomplishment moving forward. So getting the keys to a commercial property, it's amazing. And this, I want to leave you guys with something. I'm here to create your dreams into reality. And this is brought to you by Coffee and Commercial. And look forward to having another topic and discussion with you guys next time. Peace out.